Good morning. Today I have taken what I like to call a tactical day off. I've got so many jobs that are part done or need doing, and the job I work at today, it's one of my self-employed jobs. It's a bookkeeping accounts based job, and basically it's all on me. So if I'm caught up with the work and I know that everything's going to be done, I can take the day off. The little jobs that I sort of do all year round, they can be caught up on next week. So my head is in a good place because I know that I'm not dropping anybody in it or creating more work for myself by taking a day off, and I get to do some things. So what I thought I'd do today is sort of a day in the life of. So there'll be no particular theme, I don't think, to this video. I'll just film snippets of what I'm doing, which is, in all fairness, what most of my videos are like, but more so today. So as usual, I have a coffee, a very large coffee in a Christmas mug this morning, and a dog who is eating grass. Jen, what are you doing? And I'm out in the orchard just checking on the sheep and thinking about what I'm going to do next today. So this is the entrance to the kitchen garden, and it is doing my head in. It's like a little Indiana Jones style obstacle course of brambles. That is one of the things I want to sort. And being as I'm walking down here, I thought I would give you a fairly honest tour of that is a big old mess that I need to sort out. That is a herb garden that I started weeding yesterday. And this is the damson trees. It's all along the hedge line is damsons, and I let them grow because I want the fruit, but I'm getting very, very close to lopping off some of these branches because you kind of have to do a limbo to get down the garden. Although it is nice because it does give me nice privacy in my little Eden. But yes, so limboing. And there's the brassica tunnel, which is hopefully free of caterpillars because I have seen cabbage whites. And then we can stand up again. I think you just missed it there, but that was a cloud of sparrows leaving my chard. And yeah, then off down to the chickens. And that is the nettle patch. That does have a reason why it is being left, which will appear in a later video, probably next month. And the chickens. And then I normally do a quick check of my seedlings benches. However, as you can see, a lot of these aren't seedlings, they're actually brassicas that need to find a home. Except for the sprouts, which need to go in the brassica tunnel. Fine, not sitting in water. My leeks. Some lettuce that I probably should pop in the ground somewhere. And then on into, see, just proving a point, gardens are not perfect, as you see a lot on the social media platforms. This is how I get into my shed, which mainly involves avoiding nettles and brambles. And into the shed, which also, because that's the shot you normally see, this is everything else. So, what I normally do is turn my plants. So these are my Chinese lanterns, which will be potted on fairly soon. I might do that today, we'll see, and move some of them into various other locations. These are the peppers that live in here, because I've got plenty in my greenhouse. They're prairie fire, so they won't get much bigger than that. And these are some aubergines, which ideally need to go into the little plastic greenhouse that I showed you in the pile of mess just to walk into the garden. But they also are suffering from greenfly, which is a bit of an odd one because I have been spraying them with detergent water, and it has made a dent on them, but I do need to take them outside and actually clear the leaves. But the greenfly is on these guys, but it hasn't jumped to those guys. So, so I might even, if I do relocate them, leave one of these plants in here, because if the greenflies prefer these, then they won't attack them. But yeah, anyway, so they all look alright. I will give them some water at some point today. And then back out. And then some feeders that need washing. A chicken run that will need moving. I popped the chickens in there. An empty phone case. I popped the chickens in there yesterday to have a bit of grass, because you can see their run doesn't have a lot of grass left in it. But what I'll do is I'll move that onto another patch and mow that to help it come back. And then we have a squash patch. Actually, it's mainly pumpkins. And some tomatoes. Some corn, which is tasseled up. And then around here, now that is supposed to be a path so I can walk all the way around the vegetable garden. One of my tasks I was hoping to sort out today is that. And likewise, there is a path that goes all the way around the chicken run. And one of the things that's pushing me to do all of this is these little bad boys here. I don't know if I can get focus on you. There we go. The thistles. They are all, well, those have already gone to seed, flowering and going to seed, and I kind of wanted to avoid that. Yeah, so we have an asparagus just there, which I can cut off that brown one. I'll leave the rest. And then we have raspberries, which I've been picking. And there, that thing there, is a blackcurrant bush with blackcurrants on it. But as you can see, it's a bit tricky to get to. So I want to clear that, and I want to clear the backside of my bean supports so that I can put some more beans in there. Yeah, so a bit of a task, but I will feel better when it's done. So I've achieved one of the things I want to achieve, and just in time because it has started raining again because we are in Britain. And it's summer, and we all know it rains all summer. So the main purpose of clearing the patch weeds around the blackcurrants is so that I can pick blackcurrants without getting stung. Which of course I've managed to get stung quite a bit in the process. You can't see, but I've got nettle rash all over my arms and my legs. Yes, so it's clear. I'll show you in a minute when I go back out in the rain. And I think I'm going to go grab a jacket and actually pick some blackcurrants because I want to make muffins. And I want to make blackcurrant muffins. So if I get that done, I can go inside, have some breakfast, and make some muffins. So if you recall earlier, this was much more of a mess than it is now. I mean, it still looks like quite a mess, but the key bit is, although I can see a massive nettle right there, there are a lot less nettles and brambles in this patch here. You can see the other side of my bean supports, and you can see my blackcurrant bush. Yeah, so I shall go grab a container and a coat and pick some blackcurrants in the rain. Alright, so I'm now going to do some of my kitchen jobs which I wanted to get done today, which was making muffins, making a pie. I don't know whether you can hear that. I'm testing out a new mic, and the dogs are barking, and I don't know how much this mic picks up of the dogs barking. So we'll see. Yeah, so making a pie, making some muffins. I need to make some bread, and I will probably make some pancakes for my lunch. So to start off the pie, I've got some pheasant that was from last winter, and I'm going to roast that in the oven at the same time as the muffins are cooking. So here I have 4 pheasant legs, 2 cloves of garlic, a dollop of lard and some salt and pepper in a pan, which I'll initially put in the oven uncovered, give it a stir around once all the fat's melted, and then I will pop a lid on it and leave it until it's cooked. 300 grams of flour. And 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And 125 grams of sugar. And then it's 125 ml of oil to 175 ml of milk. I know this is a measuring jug, but it's just quicker and easier to weigh it. And then I have here some blackcurrants that I picked in the rain earlier today. So they are a bit wet, but it's not a problem because they're going into a cake mix. I want about 150 grams. Just having a pick over them as I go through. we go, and then pop these in the oven for 20 minutes and I'll have muffins. Right, so now the fat's melted, I'm just going to give these a quick stir, pop the lid on and then pop them back in the oven. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly mix up a batch of pancake batter so that I can have some lunch, and then I will get going with the rest of the pie filling for the pheasant pie. So I've just been shopping in the garden and the freezer and in the shed. Onion, got some carrots that aren't really ready for pulling, but the sparrows and slugs have been tag teaming, and by the looks of it possibly the voles. The sparrows have been snipping the tops off the carrots and the slugs have been nibbling on the tops. So I pulled those ones out before they were completely gone. And I have here some patty pan squash. The ones in the gardens are just about coming through, so I want to use up what I've got left preserved. I have some beet greens. This is just an open bag. It's been open for a while because I've been using it in smoothies, so I'll get rid of it. Some beetroot, green beans. And then in here I have got, oh, that's the muffins ready. Well, maybe. Now they need a few more minutes, but just to give you an idea of how much I've done in this space of time. The muffins went in 20 minutes ago, and I've made a batch of pancake mix, and I've got the ingredients for the rest of the pie filling, well, most of the pie filling. Yeah, so in this bowl I've got a block of what I think is probably lamb bone broth. I've got some Chinese cabbage, some charred greens, and some spinach and some charred stems. So I will dice, actually there's probably one more thing that I'll pop in there. I've got some dehydrated courgette from last year, which I've used a lot of, but I've got quite a bit left over. So this is shredded yellow courgette, and that's diced regular courgette, so I'll throw some of that in there as well. Oh, and I don't normally have bouquets of herbs around my house looking pretty. It's just some sage I picked from the garden, which will also go in here. 2 types of sage. I've got a purple sage and just a regular sage. So I'll pop that in with this lot as well. Right, so here I have the pheasant legs that I roasted. I'm going to pick the meat off the bones and add it to the veggie mix in the pot. Okay, so this is how I make one of my pastries. It's how I make the pastry that I'm using today. I have 2 types of lard I work with. The lard is lard in the jar. That is lard I've rendered down myself from pork fat. It is excellent lard, and so I use it generally for cooking because it's got a better flavour. This lard is shop bought lard and tends to be what I use when I'm baking. So I'm making a mix between a suet pastry and a hot water crust pastry. So I will be still using the standard half fat to flour ratio, but half of my fat will be suet and half of it will be lard, which I'll melt in some hot water. So I'm going to make 500 grams, so about a pound of pastry. So, well, hang on. No, I'll put 500 grams of flour in, so it'll actually end up being 750 grams by ingredient weight plus the weight of the water. So that's my flour. Oh, hang on. 125 of beef suet. And then 125 of lard. So I'll add some hot water to this. The good thing about suet pastry is it actually needs quite a bit of water to mix it to a dough, so you haven't got to be worried about adding too much water. Okay, that's melted enough for me. So into the bowl of flour and suet. And just by chance, that's actually the right consistency without me needing to add any more water to it. I probably could get away with adding a little bit more, but I'll leave it at that. And I shall get my dishes prepared for my pies. So, this pie will be for Dave. Dave's a chap that helps out a lot at the garage that I work at. So when I'm batch cooking or cooking a big meal, I do him a plate. So when I'm doing pies, he gets it in this little pie dish. And then this pie is for me. Obviously not one meal. And excuse fingers here because my pastry brush has gone walkies. and into the oven. Alright, so being as I've got some pastry left over, I think I will quickly make up some cheese and potato pasty filling. Because, you know, waste not, want not. And what I've just realised I still haven't done is make bread. So here we go with that one. Okay, so I have got pheasant and veg pie, cheese and potato pasties, and a tray of muffins. And there's some pheasant bone broth on the go, which I'll use to feed the dogs later in the week, I've decided. And bread dough is doing its first proof. And that is me done in the kitchen for now, so I'm going to grab a muffin and a cup of tea, and I'm going to go out to the garden and find something to do. So I'm back outside again. I came out whilst bread was doing its first proof and I did some weeding. Didn't bring you guys along because who wants to watch me do more weeding? In all honesty, I'm not sure you want to watch me do more fruit picking. But I have just picked some more raspberries. These will go in the freezer. I've almost got 2 big freezer bags full of raspberries. And now I'm just going to pick some more blackcurrants. And again, these will go in the freezer. But it should be a more enjoyable task now there are fewer brambles and nettles sticking through this bush. that's me done with picking fruit. There's the blackberries I got. I think that's the last of the blackberries. I think the birds have got to them before I've had a chance. And those are the raspberries, so those will both go in the freezer now. My alarm has just gone off, so I've got to go pop the bread in the oven and see what's next on my to-do list. So, I'm done. Bread is out the oven. I've got pie for dinner when I want it. Hello, sweetie. Yeah, I've just got the usual chores, you know, chickens, sheep, walking, all of this lot. And yeah, and a bit of, you know, housework and things. But for now, I'm going to sit and watch YouTube. So basically, I'm going to watch other people doing things like I've been doing all day. And do a bit of knitting with the dogs by the looks of things, because they seem full of energy. So yeah, so if you stuck with me today, thank you, because it's been a long day and it's not been terribly interesting. I feel like I've accomplished a bit, and at least I've got a full fridge. Well, yeah, did you have to? Okay. Have you gonna let me finish? Yeah. So I've got. You just don't help yourself sometimes, do you? As I was saying, I've got a full fridge. That's lovely. So I've got a long day of work tomorrow, a couple of different jobs I work. So I'll have my lunch and dinner sorted, and same with Saturday every Tuesday. So I don't need to worry about cooking. Although sometimes I do worry about the sanity of my dogs. Next to me. But yes, thank you very much for watching. And if you've enjoyed what you see, I'd very much appreciate it if you would subscribe to my page if you want to see more. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. And hit the little thumbs up like button on my video. Thank you.